Anxiety, the Positive Perspective Podcast. This podcast provides greater understanding and awareness for those challenged by anxiety and for the people that love them. Well-known authors Michelle LaForde and Jennifer Thompson bring it to the table with truth and vitality.
Now too. I'm going to record now.
You both recorded. You're funny. You are so much fun. I don't believe you had anxiety. I don't believe it. It's too much fun. Good morning. I'm Jennifer Thompson with Born for Wealth, and with me is none other than Michelle LaForde, who wrote an amazing book called The Master Plan, Soaring Free of Anxiety. And she is here to talk about it and how it's impacted her life and how she's soared through it herself. Michelle, take it from here.
Well, I like to start with some positive affirmations. This is episode 5 of Anxiety, the personal perspective, or the positive perspective. One, we're beautiful women. We are nurturing, we're kind, caring, we are compassionate, and our intention is always positive and to move forward. Therefore, we have a positive perspective.
Right. And I'll add to it. We're also hot. We're funny. We're vibrant. We're like, way to go, baby.
We are funny. Yeah, we're empowering.
Yeah, we're empowering.
My hair is all messed up today.
It's perfect.
And we're vain.
We're vain. We're human and we're vain.
That's right. I want to look the best that I can.
And what the last few weeks, what's been really apparent is how Michelle, is the humanity in all of this is what's really so beautiful, because we all have something we all struggle with. Let's be honest. If it's not anxiety, it's something else. We all do. And I think we all want pretty much a lot of the same things. We want a healthy life. We want love. We want to be loving. We want to have really meaningful connections and relationships. And we've got things like anxiety that sometimes stop us from really experiencing life fully.
Fear.
Yeah, fear.
And that's just it. Everything that we have, I even believe that pain, chronic pain, comes from a place of emotional context. I think that all pain is caused by emotions. Illness and things like that, I think, are caused by emotions holding you hostage.
And so, I am completely in alignment with that philosophy, and that because I think it's a reality.
Yeah.
Pain, emotional pain does translate through the body, and it comes out in so many ways. Okay, so I am so excited to know from Michelle firsthand the steps through her master plan, because I think that's what we want to know. And when listening to the bits that you've shared with me, I think I can use it for other aspects of my life, not just anxiety. So take it away, Michelle. Tell us the steps.
Okay. So when we talk about the master plan, like this book, the first master plan book is called Soaring Free of Anxiety, because it uses the soaring technique. I love lists. I love charts. I love checking things off a list, and I love to organize things. Right. And so I used that to create the soaring technique. So this was designed primarily for people who have panic disorder like me. I panicked over things that made me afraid. And then and sometimes it was just that I was afraid was what I was afraid of. So we use the soaring technique. But when you talk about the master plan itself, the master plan is built by 3 things. There's 3 pieces to it. The first piece is a daily routine. You must have a foundation of well-being. In order for your body to perform at what I call optimal performance, you have to eat regularly, not even healthy, just regularly.
Yes.
You have to sleep and have a sleep routine. Like, you literally need to let your body rejuvenate itself. Yes. You need to take a multivitamin to replace what stress and anxiety deplete. You must stay hydrated. That's a huge thing. You'll see when we do this, I'll drink on some water here and there because my hydration is so important to me. To actually get my brain to function, I have to feed it proteins, I have to hydrate, and I have to exercise it, and I have to rest it.
Right.
So those things are important. So you have a daily routine, which is the first piece of the master plan. The second piece is your challenge section. In order to create a life living free of anxiety, you have to know what that's going to look like, and you have to have a plan to get there.
Yes,
And we have to take, one challenge at a time. And then the third piece of it is that you learn to celebrate your successes, because people with anxiety tend to focus on the negative things. And so we want to turn that around and learn how to celebrate the successes. Something as simple as when I was housebound, I just walked out to the car, unlocked the door, and sat in my car. Huge success, huge celebration, huge. You guys could do that any day of the week, any time of the day or night, but I couldn't. And so no matter how silly it was, I celebrated that success, and I was proud of me. And so it takes us from a negative confidence in knowing what we cannot do to a positive confidence, which is built on what we believe we can do. So that's essentially what the master plan is. It's those three factors put together. Now, what you learn as you work on these things is that you have some pitfalls. You're not good at some of them. And so then we look at emotional well-being by the exercises in the book. And so there's exercises built in as you're developing this master plan. The daily routine is the same for everyone. So it stays strict to every master plan. My new book coming out May 15th is called The Master Plan Kids Anxiety Relief. But it's still that same basic foundation that we need them to go to sleep at the same time every day and at least attempt to get that rest. If not, medicate, get some melatonin, get some, at worst, get them on sleeping pills so they can sleep, shut down the brain. They need to eat regularly. I always say it doesn't matter what you put in your mouth. If you're not eating, just eat. Then you can worry about healthy later, but get something in there so
keep
that
the insulin level.
it's the blood sugar. It's just up and down and up and down.
Yes, that's right.
And so level out that blood sugar. Exercise, 30 minutes of cardio exercise a day keeps you happy. It literally keeps you happy.
Oh, I agree.
Right. So the exercises in the book are the piece that's a little bit different. So I want to go, this is podcast number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, the master plan itself. And then number 6, we're going to talk about the exercises and practicum of the master plan. So this episode is going to really focus on defining your master plan and being able to get that daily routine down, and then realizing how it is that you can literally change your life. It doesn't matter. I might want to be anxiety free. You might want to work on getting in a relationship.
Yes.
Whatever. It could be anything. I might want out of a relationship.
Yes.
And those are hard things. Those are life-changing. I have a woman who was watching one of my live videos the other day. Her mother passed away last year. And she said, I experienced anxiety before that, but the level of intensity of my anxiety now is excruciating.
Yes.
And so her and I are going to work together. I do anxiety coaching, where if you want help, I will help you. I will seriously hold your hand until you can walk on your own. I have no problem with that.
And I think our viewers need to know that, Michelle, that you do that. And even as I'm listening, to you, first thing, the behaviors you have articulated, the habits, because I think our life is a sum of our habits. The habits you talked about in fact, are good foundational blocks for other things in our lives, not just eliminating anxiety, but accomplishing other things. So that's one thing, you're right, I've learned from you.
Right. So we can kind of just look at it like this. I mean, we can pick something that you want to change, and I'll show you how I would use the master plan to do it. Okay.
Exactly.
So what do we want to change?
So let's say for me, okay, for me would be, okay, let's see, what would be my thing? I'm trying to find.
Put you on the spot just a little bit.
I'm just on the spot. I'm trying to find
Make something up.
Okay, I would like to get into a relationship. Why did you help me? Okay. So I'll be honest, Michelle. Discipline is a key to my life since day one, because I went to schools that really practice that. So
right.
One of the things I do in the morning, but I still want you to help me here. So I start my day with 3 things I'm really grateful for.
Okay. So you have gratitude.
Yeah. So I start, because it puts me in an elevated position, right? And when my body feels the sense of elevation, then I start my envisioning for the life I also want to proceed to.
Okay.
So so then
let me ask you this.
Yes.
Jen, what stops you from getting to that place where you want your life? Like
the relationship, maybe. Okay, let's look at and this you could help me. So the relationship thing. One of the things I had to unpack some of my set ideas of relationships, Michelle, because it's really. Exactly. It's really key. I want to jump on what you said. Like you were talking about, you said, for me, my success was going in the car and making it to the car. And I love that, because what happens is we have all these prescribed ideas from society of what success looks like and what a relationship. And so one of my things I thought is, okay, like I told you, I moved to the Mediterranean last year and I love it. So I'm not going to change my lifestyle. I love being there. And then I get to be in California.
I'm going to come and stay with you when I can travel.
You can. And I thought, I was thinking in my head, no, it's hard to get in a relationship when I'm doing that.
Right. So, you don't have a molded life.
Yes.
Right. So, okay. So let's just kind of take this, because we're not going to actually preempt this. What I would say is anything that you want to do. So the first step is we're going to observe how your day is today. Okay. Yes. So the way I do that is I just start and I say, and when I'm doing the coaching, I'll just coach you through. Okay. Sure. So I would say, where do you wake up today?
In my bed.
Okay. And where is your bed located?
Okay, so today it's in a lovely little cottage just outside of Victoria.
So you're in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll be there for a few more days before I go on the love boat. I call it the love boat.
Right.
The cruise.
We're going to put this here. But you have 2 primary residences, and it's not Canada.
No, that's right.
Travel a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put traveling here, but you can home base in the Mediterranean. Everybody's getting to know you really well now. Or in California.
Yeah, those are my 2 homes, I guess.
2 homes, but you do travel extensively.
I do travel quite a bit, yeah.
Okay. So you wake up. Now I'm going to just ask some other question. Are you alone or with someone in the bed today?
Well, that is really quite personal.
I know. You're changing your life.
Today, this morning, I love it. I'm okay. This morning, I woke up alone. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to stay alone. Okay. So, and do you have sufficient financial means?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good there. So we're just going to check that off. Are you physically healthy?
Very much so. Okay. That part is very important to me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and see, but some people aren't. Some people are not. So we would have to look at that. Okay, so we're financially okay. We have good health, and your spirituality. Are you happy with your spirituality?
Very much so. Very
So
much
we're
so.
going to check
Yeah.
that off.
That's, I really am happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at this. Your work is done anytime, anywhere that you want.
Yes, that's right. I schedule my days. I've adopted the Mediterranean lifestyle, and I intend to keep it,
Right.
no matter where I am.
Right. But that's a real luxury.
Yes.
So what we're going to look at here is, so today we have a very happy existence. You're very healthy. And so what you want to change, we're going to look at really just one aspect. Okay. But what we're going to say is, now, when we say you would like a relationship, okay?
Right.
So
Right.
now I need you to define end result of relationship, okay? Because like for me, long distance relationship, we'll figure it out, no big deal, no parameters, okay? Not
Right.
married, living together.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to define my relationship at this point with those words.
Right.
Some
Right.
people will literally look at me and say, I just want to be married. Okay, you know, but I think it's a lot deeper than that. So,
Oh, it's a lot deeper.
yeah, do you want to be
So
married?
I'll tell you what because I've got quite a clear sense. Now I do.
Okay.
So like a few weeks ago, I think, Michelle, I wouldn't. And I think one of the fundamental things I learned from talking to you, and I think in your book, is clarity.
Yes.
Getting your outcomes really clearly defined.
Right.
So I'm very good at that for a lot of things, and now I've done it for my relationship. So I think for me, when I think of a really good relationship, I think it's spicy,
Okay.
quite delicious.
Delicious. I love the words.
There's a lot of independence.
Very
So
good.
I think both of us are passionate about separate things. We do separate things, and then we come together because we create fire when we're together. So that sort of thing, I can see that. So and obviously I'm somebody who's got some degree of not only independence but flexibility, right, Michelle?
Right.
Because
well, and we need them to be flexible to travel.
Yes, and I really love, I've been through the long distance thing before and all that. It's not my cup of tea. I want a travel buddy. I want to
look at them. Right. You want to do things together.
Yeah, I like to. I think it's so nice on a boat in the Greek Isles and having someone in the boat with me, right?
Yeah. When I go to Santorini, which is on my bucket list, we'll go together. I have a group.
You can bring her, and you guys can come on my boat.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so when I'm asking you these questions, it seems as if you have a good sense of what, but now you really need to look at the who, because we don't always do that. We always leave the who to non-observation. So
What do you mean by that? Explain. I have no idea.
You've had relationships in the past.
Right.
Okay. So now we're going to envision this other person. and I need characteristics, because the law of attraction says we're going to attract a lot of what we are. So that's going to take care of that. But now we're going to take that a step further, because we can be attracted to 10 people via law of attraction, but I only want one.
Yes.
I'm not I don't even know the term for it, but I try.
Polyamory. No, I'm not into that.
Right.
That's deleted.
That's just it.
Program.
But do we want someone who is? So now we need to actually look at who. Right. So now
similar values. I think for me, similar values and a united sense of vision, because I want to create a future with someone, build something.
So here's the thing. When we meet someone new, we can be enamored quite quickly if we let our energy host that space, right?
I love how you said that.
Yeah, you and I get energy. What we're talking about is, if you value yourself, you're open to and attuned to heartfelt feelings. Okay. Yes. Some people are not heartfelt. It's not open. It's closed off in protection. Okay. Yes. So we want to look for someone who has heartfelt energy as well.
Totally,
the
totally.
the way to do that is to just be open to it yourself, but also observe what we're looking for.
Yes.
My friend Jenny McNulty, the comedian,
Yes, you told me about that. It's cute.
I talk about this all the time because it is so true. She got a new girlfriend and she was like, the red flags were all over. They were just everywhere. At the beginning, it was like, I'm walking and the red flag is waving in front of me. And I'm like, oh, hey, girlfriend, look at the pretty red flag. And then the flag is like flapping in your face, smacking you, and you're like, can you stop? I can't see my girlfriend, that's causing these red flags. And then the flagpole's literally beating you in the head, and you're like, oh my God, girlfriend, can you save me?
Yes.
Now, here's the deal. Red flags for a reason. Red is not good. Red means stop. Don't go.
Yeah.
Red flags.
I've got a lot better at that too. Now, if I see the red,
yeah.
I'm just gone. If I see the red flag,
as we age, like
I love it.
we get better
I love it. I know. And we also have to become aware of the red flag that we are.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
You also must observe how you are in retrospect to that relationship.
Right.
Our energies will meld. And like you and I, we have been having fun since the moment we met, right? People would think that we've known each other for years.
Yes.
We met 2 weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we've never met in person, right?
Never.
So,
but you're coming to my boat in Santorini.
I am coming to the boat. I'm on that boat. I will wear a bikini, so beware.
You know what, Michelle? Yeah, I love it. And that's so, I think you nailed it. As you were talking about this. It's so key to be energetically in sync, I think.
Well, you have to let your energy thrive because we hold back so much. And like my question the other day was, why are you so reserved? Why can't we just enjoy where we're at? And here was the answer. Who said I wasn't enjoying it? I'm like, oh.
Ooh. You see, that's right. So
put that shit out there.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Like I overwhelmed her with the conversation the other day. I'm not going to decide my whole life in this conversation. And I'm like, why not? Because I want answers.
I think so. And I play, I think in my business too, Michelle, no matter whether I'm talking about money, wealth, lifestyle, I always go down to the top 5 core values of a person.
Yeah.
And I think the more common core values two people have, the more important it is. Because when I look back, very high on my list is playfulness, a sense of playfulness, And in the past, someone might be attracted to that, then they want to beat it out of me.
I know. Why are you always joking around? Why are you never serious?
The interesting thing, I have a strong sense of self, so I know that in the right context, I can be very serious, very grounded.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel good to just be playful? Like I know
sometimes let's just chill.
I don't want to be serious all the time. But I'm that intense person, because we had this conversation. I was like, I know I used to be pretty intense, and it was like, yeah. And I said, but I'm not as intense anymore. And then it was like, but I'm overwhelmed by this conversation. And like, I'm not trying to be intense. I just need some answers. And it's really hard to ask those questions sometimes. But you need to be able to do the little check-in.
Yes, I think check-in is so important.
If
it's part of the self-awareness, right?
Really, it's part of communication.
And Michelle, at the beginning, why are we so terrified? I don't know if the word is terrified, but why are we so concerned about stepping on someone's toes at the beginning and not just being honest?
Well, I think that's the problem, is that people don't know who they are.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that don't take the time to really figure out who they are. Do they know what they want? Well, I know what I want at this moment. That's why we said clarity in the vision.
Yes.
If you really want a long-term relationship, which is what you're talking about, I can go out and date. I have fun dating. Dating is awesome. But to me, dating means going out and having fun, having dinner, going to a show, going to a concert, going to the water slave park, whatever. Just going out and having a good time, and then bye-bye, gotta go.
Yes, I did that already. Now I'm on the next stage. I would like to.
Right.
I would like to get into a real.
Now
I
you want
believe
to
I'm ready.
share.
Yeah.
Now you
Yes.
want to
I
share.
love that. I
And
shared.
that's just it. When we're talking about a relationship, we're talking, you know, I used to write a romance column. So
Okay. So you're my answer to prayer.
yeah, this gets into this is my field. But you're getting into a place where you really want to share. Now, here's the
Yes.
problem. Are you capable of sharing, and to what degree? Because you don't want to just walk out. You've met that person who they just regurgitate their life story to you in one dinner, and you're like, oh my God.
Next. It's like
No. You
next.
know,
Run to the boat.
right. And you know, I go back to this, I call it the 1950s mentality. This is when war wasn't such a big thing. You know, we weren't in World War I, World War II, and we weren't in the Vietnam War. I think the Korean War was then in the United States. But the 50s seemed like a happier time for people. The 40s were really messed up. The 60s and 70s were a little skew.
Yes.
But there were what they called basic family values
Yes.
in the 1950s. Okay. And it was usually God
Hard
first,
work,
family
hard
second,
work.
hard work,
Yeah, very
and
hard.
responsibility, and raise your children with the ability to make up their own minds. And so when you're talking about someone, age difference and things like that, it really does matter if you're talking about core values, because we all grew up. I'm a product of the 60s. Free love, drugs, rock and roll. But I didn't age up until the 70s, which was a little bit better. So I was born in the 60s, but I didn't really live in the 60s. So I came in the 70s, which was back to that core values, you know, family, responsibility. But when you're looking at someone, the only way to get to know someone is to spend time with them.
I agree, 100%.
Because of social media, we tend to spend a lot of time, like I hate texting. If you want to talk to me, dial my phone number so I can hear your voice. I can hear the inflections. I can hear the excitement. But I'm used to, in my relationship, we text.
Yes.
And I'm just like, you know, I think I said the words this week. I'm not really sure where to get my attention and affection from right now because we're long distance.
Yes.
And so I don't really have that the rest of the time. And I do believe that that keeps you healthy. I have a great dog who will literally come, put her paws on me, and lay her head down here.
Right.
So I have that. But I have a 15-year-old boy that you don't just run up and hug that 6'4" giant.
No, not that.
I mean,
No,
he does. I mean, he will put his arm around me and kiss pretty much the top of my head. He tells me that he loves me. So it's okay.
Right.
But now that I feel a sense of release to a relationship of some sort, I want the damn goodies, you know.
Yes,
and I'm not
yes.
talking, you know, the full Monty, because I truly believe, and this is that old school shit, that when you have sexual relations, you enjoin.
Yes.
I
It
don't
does.
want to enjoin unhealthy. Like, I don't
It
need
does
to
muddy the
unhealthy.
water a little bit, I think. It does, if you're just on a date, it does muddy the water a little bit. I
It
think you
does.
jump
It
into
truly does. And you know,
Yeah.
especially in a situation where you've already been there,
Yeah.
so you can't take it back. You just can't take it back.
Oh my God, I've seen you without your clothes. Now, now I'm not
Well,
sure.
and not only that, I mean, I've seen you hungry, angry, naked,
Oh yeah.
afraid, vulnerable.
Yeah. I know what.
You know, I know you too well. But that you still have to generate the openness of coming together again. And there's a process. And I truly believe if you wait to enjoin yourself with this person, you can make decisions
Right.
based on how many factors. One, what they say. Two, what they do. And three, do these two match?
Yes. Yes.
Like I always use the analogy with children. if I say I love you and then I punch you in the face,
Oh God,
what
yes.
do you hear me saying?
right.
And they're like, you don't like me. And that's the key. What
Yes.
do they say? What do they do? And do these two match?
Yes.
Very rarely in this life, even ourselves, do we match. Like, I seriously, if I need to ask a question because I don't have understanding, I try and ask the question because that's what I'm saying. Because what I'm doing is looking confused and I need them to match. So for me, being healthy means say what I mean and mean what I say.
Being aligned. You have to be aligned.
Yes.
And
And
that's
then,
authenticity and integrity.
yes. And
And that's
follow
very,
that
yes.
with action.
And it's
You
very
know?
high on my list. Yeah.
It is. And it is everyone. So you want a healthy relationship because we're going to add that to this list. You would like
Very
a healthy relationship.
I want healthy, hot, and happy.
Amen. And that's true, you know. And what's the beauty of it is we can see hot, okay? We can feel happy,
Yes.
but the healthy part
Is number one.
takes
Oh,
some time. That's what takes
yeah.
some time.
And that's number one. It's the most important because you know what? People all age. So, you know, but healthy, that's so key. You cannot, that is the number, I think it's foundational.
Well,
Emotional,
it's hard to damn find, that's for sure.
emotional health is
Seriously,
number
it's
one.
hard to find. Okay, so now we have these things that we've looked
Okay.
at.
So you
now,
found her for me. Have you found her for me? Have you found her for me?
oh yeah, I know her. I'll be giving her a call when we finish. Okay,
She must like me too.
I don't know. We'll see what I hook you up with. So, okay, so
Okay.
now we need, the master plan would say,
Yes,
one,
I want to
take
know.
care of you. So you have your daily routine.
Yeah.
Now you can add some things to your daily routine. Jen, do you love yourself?
I love myself. I really like myself most of the time. The only once in a while I think that there are times where I think I could have done that differently. But by and large, I really like myself.
Right. But the thing is that you use it as a lesson and
Yes,
can change what you do next time.
totally.
Right. So you're happy with you. So that's really good. Because if you
Yes,
weren't, we're
very
going to
much.
add to the master plan on the daily routine, saying the words, I love you, Michelle. I love you. I love
Yeah.
me. Those are
You
hard.
mean I say I love you, Michelle?
And no, for me, on my master plan, it was, I
I'm
love you.
being
And I had to
naughty.
say my name. I had
I
to
so
express myself.
I
I was
really
addressing,
like myself.
yeah.
I mean, I remember times years ago where I wasn't happy, but I must say I really like who I am.
Right,
I
and
really,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
So we don't need that piece.
No.
Me in my master plan had to have me say to my subconscious mind, I love you, Michelle. And that
Yes.
was really nice because then that started being an unconditional love. It didn't matter where I was or what I was doing in reference to
That's
my
beautiful.
program because it was
Yeah.
really hard. So, all right, so our daily routine, which the daily routine really does just say, take care of you. All right,
Yes.
you need to take care of you. You're to a point with food that you can eat regularly. You need to eat healthy for sustenance
That's
and
very
quality
important for
of
me.
life.
Yes.
Yeah.
A healthy diet is so important, and I do exercise every day. That's also really important to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then we move to the challenge section. So we need to find her. We need to ask her out.
I
We
think
need to,
I've got one I would call it fear, I guess, you know,
okay,
if
so
I
what's the fear? Let's throw that out here.
okay, let's do that because I think we're looking at what is the one thing that might be the niggling point or something, the fear.
Right.
And I think my fear is that uh, because when I love really deeply,
Okay, hold
you know,
on. I
yeah,
want you to finish this sentence because this is where I want you to, one, I want you to give me an observation and I
yes,
want you to stop filtering what comes out. And I want you to just say, my fear is, let it drop and let it out. And I will hold it with the most capable hands I can. So my fear is not thinking, just say the words and let it drop out.
breaking up.
Okay. So my
To-
fear,
to-
putting myself out there, being vulnerable, and going through the pain. Okay. So when we talk about breaking up, what stops you from breaking up?
So my fear of relationships, the only thing the fear is that if it doesn't work out, that's the
Right.
only
But
thing.
what I'm saying is, what
Yeah.
makes something not work out is finding two people who can't work together.
Yes.
If you find two people who will promise, the only thing you can promise another person is, I promise I will try.
Yes.
I promise I will try.
Yes.
So when you look at who do you know that you admire as two people in a relationship? Like I have two couples that I admire.
My mom and dad were married for over 50 years. The first 20 years were horrible, but the last 30 years were spectacular.
Yep.
And when my dad died a few years ago. He had Alzheimer's, and I was observing him and my mom. I've been observing them the last few years when I visit and all. And I said to him, "You're downright frigging lucky." I said, "If I've got the next 30 years like this woman looking after," and it was very mutual. She walked in and his eyes lit up, and
Exactly.
he adored her. He adored
He
my mom.
liked her. He liked
He really
her.
did. And
See,
and
live
they
that.
told me what forgiveness looks like, because my dad was he fooled around in the first 20 years, and they split up, and then they came back together, and then she forgave him, and she taught me what forgiveness looks like, because she completely forgave him. And then not only that, so I thought, I see so many couples in my business who are just coexisting.
Right.
And here were two people who adored, literally, I saw what it was to adore each other. So what that meant for me was like, nobody could put them apart now. You cannot play them one against the other. My dad looked out for her. She looked out for him. I remember telling her, when I was having relationship problems, I used to say, I blamed him. I said, you guys were a bad example. And she said, if I could forgive your dad, you're the one with the problem.
She said
Yeah.
it.
And
So
so when
so here you have this beautiful relationship that you were a part of.
yes.
From the inside out, you are a product of that relationship.
Right.
And so my parents did till death do you part as well. And so when you experience that kind of relationship, I think it's very difficult because, one, we don't really know the keys until we're older.
Yes.
And it wasn't all beautiful.
No.
There were some pretty tough times.
Oh, they had tough times. Yeah.
And what happened was they were independent enough to make it through. Okay. So
I love that.
yeah, they were independent enough to make it through, because what you find is when someone's dependent on you and you don't come through, then they have to go find someone else because they're so dependent. So you need someone interdependent.
I never thought of that.
It's true. It's so true. You think about those relationships that so-and-so's not meeting my needs. Like I have a friend right now who just was in a breakup, and I heard these words come out so many times. She's not doing what I need her to do for me. And I said, man, that's your mistake right there. You've got to take care of you. I mean, your happiness is your responsibility. If this person's not having sexual relations with you, that means that your intimacy is clogged. You're not having intimacy. Intimacy starts before you ever take your clothes off.
Completely.
And if you can't make love to somebody's mind and feel that burst, you're not doing your job.
Right.
And your job is to come into that relationship honestly and loyally every day.
And Michelle, I think, like one of my expectations, it's interesting. I don't know, maybe you can shed some light. What I want to happen is I meet somebody and we both instantly know this is it.
This is it.
And this is it.
Grab the U-Haul.
No, I'm not into that. So when I say this is it, what I mean is we both know there's a connection and we're going to explore the connection, and it's a mutual desire to explore, and it's a mature decision. It's not necessarily now we live together, not at all. Yeah. It's like, so now we're exploring it together.
When does your fear become pronounced?
Good
When you
point.
start caring enough that you could get injured? And
Yes.
every relationship, and see, I'm that person who, thank God I have a positive perspective about this, but I've always known myself to be independent enough that if a breakup occurs, I'm going to make it.
Yes.
My first one, I learned from my first one.
Yes.
Like I couldn't breathe without that relationship. And that shit was wrong. I will never give enough of me to get to that place again. But I'm open in every area. That's the one good thing about me is I will open up to you because I know that the goodies are the goodies and they don't come without some risk. And
Yes, that's true.
so I want to be able to say, you know, I will risk that. I will risk that.
And you know what, Michelle? So the way I've approached it in some to deal with that fear is like in the Buddhist way of approaching relationships is that you're not attached to the outcome. You know what I mean? You're attached to the commitment.
So you
Or
just
you-
date forever. You
No,
just date forever.
no. That's not. You're funny. Sometimes I call it a Buddhist intimacy. We don't care about the outcome. No, what I mean by that, I'm teasing. What I mean by that is that when you love someone, it's not then what they can do for you at the end of the day, right?
Right.
It's what you can do for them. And I find that really intoxicating.
Right, but it has to be balanced.
But it
Yes,
does.
interdependence has to be balanced.
It's not in my part. I think it was not. I don't feel like I gave everything, but I feel bad about it. But I did not. I feel like when I give my heart. But I think I want that back too. I do want that equal sort of thing. What you said, I want it back. Yeah.
Right. And so what you'll do is on your master plan challenge section, I think the first thing that, you know, we've got to find her, we've got to ask her out, and we've got to spend time. So those are things. What other things do we have to do? One, I think we need to make sure we're free of all past relationships.
Yes, I'm free. It's
Okay.
I intentionally gave myself a year. It's going to be a year in June. I
Nice.
intentionally gave myself. I mean, I dated, but I gave myself a year to
Right.
really take it. Now now I really am open.
Right.
I think also, Michelle, another thing you teach me is what it means to be open. You talked about it. You alluded to it several times. But what does openness mean? I don't think
Okay.
because that alone is a loaded word.
Well, and one, okay. So when you go through meeting someone new, we all want to really get to know them. We've all had that. Left the date and spent hours on the phone all night long and woke up the next morning without having gone to sleep because we just stayed on the phone and it was so intriguing just to soak them up and learn so much about them. But what we want to do is while we're trying to spend time with them, we want to allow ourselves, and we don't want to force anything. Nobody should have to hear your life story within the first 6 months. No one.
No.
No one.
No.
No one. Like I don't tell people my story. Like I tell, okay, I have dated
You're funny.
a lot. And what I know about that is
So
I never told them what I didn't want them to know. They would think, oh, she's so open. You didn't hear shit. You heard what I wanted you to hear because I was protected in there. And so what I think is you have to be open to love. Nothing else. You don't have to be
what does that I want you to explain what that means to me. Really.
One, you've got a fear of loving someone because if you do, if it doesn't work out, that's going to be painful. We all have that fear. Now, like anxiety, here's your level and here's mine. In relationships, here's my level, here's yours. Okay?
Yes.
I don't have that intense fear. I don't. I have a fear of ending up alone my entire life versus having someone to share it with and maybe that not making it. I think that you have to be open to the idea of allowing someone to love you as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the first key.
That's exciting.
is
How
allowing.
do I do that? Tell me.
See, that's just it. How do I do that? You don't. You're just open to it. Let them love you. You know, because here's the
Yes.
problem. If they adore me and I don't adore them, that's awkward. Like, how awkward is it when you're
Yes,
someone
that's,
and you're like,
no, that's happening.
I don't like you, and I don't want to hurt you because I do
No.
like you. And I talked to a friend of mine last night
Yeah.
in that situation, dating 2 years, long distance, sees each other every couple of weeks, and says, I don't know if this is the one. And I said, baby, after 2
It's
years,
not.
it's not, and you need to let them go so that they can find that. But it's going to be
Yes.
awkward, and there's going to be anger, and, he's not going to react well. And I said, well, when you blow up 5 years of his life, and then you tell him, you're going to have to apologize because I knew about it 3 years ago, but you were a big baby. And if you want to be a big baby, because that's who we all are when we end relationships. We turn into big babies because we're injured. And so if you take
I don't
them,
want to be like that.
no,
Yeah.
you have
No.
to be
No,
open.
I'm not.
And see, that's the
Yes.
thing, is
So
open.
that's
Open.
my thing, is understanding what that looks like, because now I know, like, if somebody likes me, if I know within seconds, within minutes whether they met for me, and I don't want to continue if it's not, because before in the past I would, because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Well, and you and I were a little shallow. We want hot on that list. Okay.
Yes.
But I also want smart and funny and witty and charming and financially sound and healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically. Okay. I just want the perfect woman. Okay. That's what I want. But
You're funny.
now that I know I need to find the woman who's perfect for me, that
Yes.
then becomes a different
Yes.
So,
and I don't know what that looks like, to be really honest.
because
I don't know what sort of woman is perfect for me.
Right, but
What's that?
the reason you've not met it, that's why, because you don't know, because you haven't met it. And so what you just need to be, law of attraction says, open to it, open to the universe, be open to it. Say the words, manifest it, say the words, I am open to loving and being loved.
I'm open to loving and being loved.
There you go.
Because I know I love really deeply. I want to be loved deeply too. Yes.
But you want to be loved deeply
So
by
should I give
someone
my
who
phone
you
number?
love deeply. That's the problem. Right?
I know,
That's
yeah.
the problem.
So we want it to be mutual.
Right.
And should I leave my phone number? I'm teasing you. You were so much fun. But I gained something from the whole process. I got it.
Right. And what
I
you
think
need
I'm
to
a
do,
lot better. Yeah.
you
Michelle,
have
I think I needed to admit that I wasn't as open as I made out to be. I'm not.
that's why me
think you hit
coaching
it.
you, I don't really put up with a
Yeah.
lot of bullshit when I'm coaching you, because like I said, you're filtering. You've got a filter here. I need it to drop from the head out the mouth, because that's where the truth
You were
lies. From the head out the
right.
mouth.
Very
Yeah.
good.
The filter,
Yeah.
we don't need pretty words. We don't need to change the context. We need to know what's going on in that
Yeah.
head. For me to say, I can't eat off plates because someone was in my house that did drugs, that's embarrassing. But until I knew that, and then I could say, oh, well, nobody's been in here. Like going to restaurants and eating. Okay, I owned a restaurant. I know that the powerful dishwasher.
How did you figure it out? Like, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, but you figured it out. You did. You actually did.
But I had
I
to.
don't.
Lose the filter and let it fall. And you don't have to do this in public like we are. I mean, you don't have to get on the podcast to do it. We're just giving examples that you're very healthy, but that fear is very real for you. And it's probably stopped you from really enjoying some phenomenal people. And so now, every day on your gratitude, you say that, and then you say, I'm open to loving and being loved. Because my thing is, I'm open to love, but I'm not sure I want you to love me, because I'm not really sure about that. Now that I've opened myself up to that, I'm like, why aren't you loving me? I want to be loved this way right now. But you know,
Well, I think you nailed it.
yeah, you have
I'm
to
so
be
glad
honest.
we had this talk before the love boat.
I know.
Now I'm ready for the love boat.
That's right. Your love boat's going to be sailing. And see, it's really
you
hard.
should do
One of the
Yeah.
biggest problems, and I know that we didn't say this, but I'm going to throw it out there. One of the biggest problems with somebody who is financially secure is that you get all those little wanton tramps that want that only. And so they're going to pretend to be something that they're not. And so you have to take longer when you're healthy and you want a healthy relationship. You have to take longer
Yes.
to discern who this person is. Now, if you haven't seen them
I'm glad I'm taking the time.
alone, yes,
Yeah.
afraid, hungry, see how they react in different environments. You know, it's not
Right.
always, you know, when I go out into public, I put on my hair, I put on my makeup, I put on clothes, and I go out there and I give a persona of someone who's really together. I try my best. And at home, when you're sitting talking to me because you're dating me, you're looking at me going, "Are you always this stupid?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm afraid I am." No.
I haven't seen that part, but that's okay.
That's what I'm
But
saying,
you're
because
coming
I'm
with
not
your sweetheart.
vulnerable here.
Both.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't like to be
eating
vulnerable.
off a plate.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
You are so willing to be vulnerable, and I'm not the same way. And
Well, no,
you're
but
right.
yeah,
I'm not.
I'm
the same.
learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning. And most of the reason
But
that I'm learning is because I'm not going to help anybody if they don't hear the truth. Most of what people keep watching me for, like I have videos on Facebook, we've got the YouTube channel, I've got dinner with friends coming that really talks about what it's like having an anxiety disorder. I saw a documentary on Lady Gaga, and that woman is, I mean, she is a bullet biting, spit 'em out, can kill you with a bullet from her mouth. Tough as nails legit. And she is so vulnerable.
she
She's
is.
so beautifully creative because she's so empowered by her emotional self. And you know, that's who I've always been, is very powered by the creative energy in me, the emotional person in me. And I've had to kind of
Right.
knock that down a little bit and function with a little head and a lot of heart. But I have to drop the filter
I love
between the
it.
two.
Yes.
I'm hoping that I can have the healthiest relationship I've ever had. It doesn't mean I don't stomp my feet like yesterday. You know,
will. Just, you will have it, Michelle. You will. Just say it is done. We will. You will have one, and I will have one. You did illuminate something. I didn't realize I still was a bit closed.
right.
And now I'm going to be open.
And
I
so
love
what
it.
you do is
Yeah.
you take these things, that then becomes a challenge for you, because, you know,
Yeah.
you have to find her. So this is the search pattern. You have to know where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Do you want to get and enjoy a personals, which I am all against? Do you want to look for them at work, which again, not always the best thing? You know, how do you find them? And then you need to know, okay, I think I found somebody that I'm interested in. And I used to say, when I was single, I would ask out 3 different people a week, one for lunch, one for dinner, and one to go dance. Now, why? Because I see them in different elements. So then the next week, I might date 3 people at one time, but then it would switch out. If that one went to lunch, then that one was going to go to dinner. But it was I'm not committed to you. I'm just here to have some fun. And you can find some real diamonds in the rough. Because hot for me,
Oh yeah.
yeah, hot for me doesn't always have to do with what your hair looks like.
No. I think hot is somebody with a strong sense of self. That's intoxicating.
Right, for you. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I find really strange for me now is the person that I date was just, I have to find words here. I have to find words because I want it said in a very kind and generous way. Mutilated by the last relationship doesn't really cut it. Bought into some bullshit about self that's not true. Okay? Because you can tell me things about myself, but unless I buy into them, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to say
No,
bought
yeah.
into some things about self that are not true and lost a little bit of that self-assuredness that I find so hot. And so, but I
I
know,
find that so intoxicating.
yeah, yeah. And
You know, someone who's
I,
got your back, really healthy, yeah,
mhm,
really nice.
yeah,
You know,
I've
healthy,
got you.
a
Yeah,
real healthy sense of self. Yeah, that's nice. That's now that's intoxicating. And generally, you know, no one is a cover model sort of thing, but when someone is confident, they it's attractive. It's very
right.
attractive.
And for me,
Someone with a sense of direction.
the eyes, you know, when I look into
Ah,
their eyes and I can see that sparkle. When you walk into a room and your eyes sparkle because you see me, there's a chance I'm going to be intrigued by that, you know. Um,
yes,
and the
yes.
other things,
A
you know,
joy.
like weight and size, that does not matter to me. It's about the eyes
Yes.
and the way they take care of themselves. Like my
I
daughter's
wanted to
a
say
girl.
that. Yes, you
My
taking care of
daughter is,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah, my daughter is gorgeous, like gorgeous, and she's a little overweight. But to me, it's not, that package changes. You know, I used to like to say pretty only goes so far. If you can't back that up with intelligence and, you know, an ability to speak what your mind is in a kind and conscious way, there's just certain things. But we all like different things, and that's what you've got to know about yourself. So
Yes.
the challenge is to find the diamond in the rough, because chances are, if you're still a little fearful about opening up in that, then you're going to law
I'm
of
not too
attraction.
sure.
Yeah.
At the beginning of our conversation, I've decided no. You
Now you're
shed
not.
some light. I'm not. I'm
Right.
not. I can feel it. I can feel my body change. I'm really
Right.
excited about it.
Yeah. And we can also empower you with the fact that
Yes.
should you get to a place that a breakup does occur and you're injured with that, I will help you through that. I will love you through that. I
I
will
know.
hug you. I'll get on your boat and we'll go find
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, and hopefully we can double date. You bring her, and I'll have
Yeah,
somebody on the boat, and it'll be fun.
absolutely.
But I'm in charge, by the way.
You're
Just
the
as long
captain.
as you know I'm in charge.
I captain.
I
I
always
don't know
say to
anything
me,
about boats. Like you have to go around
take
the continent. Like I want to see land. I want to be able to swim. I'm
yes,
not
the
really a water
Mediterranean.
person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that too because it's so places are all buried in culture, all
Yeah.
different cultures. It's so gorgeous architecture. I love it. I really love Europe. Anyway, thank you so much, Michelle. I feel better. If anybody wants to talk, Michelle, are you okay with me telling this? I said, if anybody wants to talk to Michelle, I really encourage you to do it. If you don't leave in some way transformed, even a little bit, because the degree of transformation that happens in our lives is not just her responsibility, but ours as well.
Right.
But I can tell you, if you feel at least a little bit transformed, you can come back and talk to me because I'm sure she will do something for your life and it'll be a permanent change. Okay, thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. And you can also, if you
And
want to
see you
get
in
a
the next.
hold of me,
Yeah.
yeah, go to www.michellelafort.com and there's a contact us page, and I take all of the email. It gets a little difficult some
and
days.
put up your book again and show us your book again, because for me that book is not just about anxiety. It's got some ideas for all sorts of different issues that we might be facing.
Hard to
Okay, thank
see.
you, Michelle. Yeah, that's the master plan, soaring free of anxiety.
Yeah, it looks backwards to me, so I don't know
And
if you're getting it right.
yeah,
But yeah,
it
just
looks perfect.
on the
And
cover, and me and
Michelle,
Annie.
hopefully yeah, me and Annie says, I have an alter ego too, Michelle.
Do
You
you?
know how you talk about that clothes? Yeah, my alter ego is called Ethan.
Ethan. All
Ethan is
right,
my
I
alter ego.
remember that. We
Ethan.
love to play
And
with
Ethan likes to act like Ethan likes to act cool not to show the vulnerability. So
right?
Ethan's a bit cool. So
Yeah.
Ethan and Jen will be on the boat.
There you go.
Okay,
Well, and I
Michelle.
assume,
Okay,
well,
you
we
take.
can handle both. All right, so wrapping it
Okay,
up,
take
remember we're amazing
Yeah.
women, and we do reach mostly women, but if you're a man, you're amazing as well. You've got to know your value. And if you don't know your value, you need to contact us so that we can help you find it. That's the big thing, is to
Right.
find value in yourself. Or,
Yes.
I mean, it's really hard. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone who does not value themselves, you can keep telling them and keep telling them and try and show them, but then they don't know it and it just gets defeating. So today we just talked about the master plan. Like literally, there's anything that you want to do can be back down into steps. And if you're taking care of yourself and you have your daily routine, and then you challenge yourself to look at the things that impede you from getting through the process, and you take one challenge at a time. Jen just happens to be a really healthy person. That's why I wanted to do the podcast with her. And we really work, both of us work very hard to be healthy and happy and live in harmony. And so if you're not there yet, let us help you get there. So thank you very much for tuning in. You can watch us on YouTube. www.michellelafort.com will get you there. Jennifer Thompson and Michelle Lafort saying, we're headed to the Mediterranean. We'll see you next time.
Yes, take care. Bye-bye.